Mass grave containing 450 newly discovered skeletons. Shocks archaeologists. The ancient world has long fascinated human curiosity, as behind the old ruins lie deep secrets and untold stories. Each tomb, each wall, and every remaining trace holds valuable clues about the lives and civilizations of our ancestors. The mysterious challenges of the Jewish people, with their mystical religious rituals, or the mass graves of ancient peoples, have always left humanity astonished by their strangeness. But that's not all. Strange animal fossils and ancient creatures that modern science still cannot fully explain are also an essential part of the treasure trove of mysteries from the past. All of these are not just remnants of the past, but unsolved puzzles waiting for us to discover. So, what discoveries have archaeologists made in recent years? Let's dive into today's video to uncover the secrets of these discoveries right now. The ancient tomb, containing 450 skeletons. In 2013, while constructing a road in the village of Lucino, northeastern Poland, workers accidentally uncovered a terrifying mass grave. Excavated with great care, the grave contained about 450 skeletons, all showing signs that the deceased were once suspected of being vampires. According to ancient origins, the most well-preserved skeletons were found in strange positions, with their skulls placed between their legs and a coin placed in their mouths. This was an ancient practice reflecting the belief that a coin could prevent the soul of the deceased from rising. In addition, 3 large jars filled with other bones were found in the tomb. Archaeologists estimate that these skeletons were buried in the 19th century. Maciej Stromski, one of the archaeologists involved in the excavation, stated that this burial practice was a form of protection to prevent the deceased from becoming vampires. They were suspected of possibly rising from the dead due to some disease or a strange change in their bodies that made them appear vampire-like in folklore. After many analyses, researchers suggest that this mass grave might be related to an outbreak of a disease in the area around 200 years ago. Diseases such as tuberculosis, anemia, or certain genetic disorders could have caused the affected individuals to look pale, fatigued, avoid sunlight, and possibly cough up blood. These symptoms would have easily led to suspicion, causing them to be labeled as vampires. It is known that the vampire legend in Poland is rich, with many different beliefs about how to protect the dead to prevent them from coming back to life. In addition to using garlic, crosses, or holy water, as in some other countries, many tombs have shown even more extreme measures such as decapitation, staking through the heart, or even sealing the body in an iron coffin. As you can see, the mass grave in Lucino is certainly a clear evidence of ancient fears of vampires, as well as an important milestone in studying ancient Polish burial customs. 50. Ancient skeletons found beneath drainpipe. Recently, British authorities unexpectedly discovered the remains of a 3-year-old child in a wooden coffin beneath the drainpipe of the toilet in Westminster Abbey, London. What was particularly remarkable was that the skeleton did not match the characteristics of the monks buried nearby, which left archaeologists thoroughly puzzled. Furthermore, they continued to find 50 more human skeletons, all buried in the same area. According to research, these remains were buried over 1,000 years ago. It is believed that the 3-year-old child must have come from a family of high social status based on the burial style. However, the skeletons are too small and poorly preserved, so authorities have not been able to determine the child's gender. Experts hope that this discovery will provide more insight into the tumultuous events of 1066 at Westminster Abbey, during the period when 2 new kings were crowned after the death of the old king. The Abbey's archaeologist, Warwick Rodwell, stated, "The fact that the child was buried here is one of the hardest questions to answer, but it suggests that this is a place where many more remains of women and children can be found, remains that people would never have expected." Additionally, among the skeletons found near Poets' Corner, some skulls had holes caused by 13th century workers and were stacked beneath the drain pipes. These findings have only increased curiosity about the history and unsolved mysteries of this famous abbey. Archaeologists are currently continuing to study these remains to determine their age, health status, and the origins of the individuals buried there. Since only kings, queens, and high-ranking clergy were buried inside the church, it is likely that these were clergymen or individuals closely associated with the church, further enriching the mysterious stories of Westminster. Mass grave of headless warriors. While digging along the side of a drab old road in Dorset, England, archaeologists suddenly unearthed something remarkable: a mass grave containing the headless remains of 54 Viking warriors. Rather than interpret the pit as some sort of cautionary warning sign, an ancient hunting ground, and ignore it, the archaeologists carefully noted the position of the bones. As they did so, they began to notice something odd about the placement. Specifically, leg and arm bones, heads and torsos were all neatly stacked in separate piles. The initial hypothesis among archaeologists was that, after being captured by the people of a local village who had somehow escaped the Viking attack, the villagers killed their attackers, stripped them naked and dismembered them, and then removed some of their heads, perhaps for fun or as souvenirs. But this did not explain why the unfortunate Viking warriors were beheaded with an oddly precise sword strike from the front, rather than from behind the neck, as was the usual method of execution by decapitation. In fact, archaeologists later revised their hypothesis, admitting that the Vikings were probably not dismembered by their aggressors in revenge, but were sacrificed in a highly regulated spiritual ritual that was unlike the culture of the period. Sector 6th century treasure in Russia. In a city that was once Greek and is now located in the southwest of Russia, archaeologists have discovered a rare treasure consisting of copper coins dating back to the 6th century. According to the Institute of Archaeology of the Russian Academy of Sciences, 80 coins found in the treasure are remnants of a devastating fire that occurred 400 years ago. These copper coins, which symbolized currency, were widely used in trade across Greek-influenced regions. Scientists believe that the catastrophic fire destroyed part of the city, marking the beginning of an attack by the Huns or Turks. Treasures like this are hard to find, making this discovery a clear piece of evidence of a historical disaster, with the city's residents burying their wealth but being unable to return and recover it. The ancient coins were found in the ruins of the ancient city of Phanagoria, now part of Krasnodar Krai, on the Taman Peninsula, near the Black Sea. Archaeologists explain that this discovery is tied to the dramatic and mysterious history of Phanagoria during the medieval period, once the capital of one of the earliest Christian dioceses in Russia. A resident of Phanagoria had buried these ancient coins, which were likely minted around the end of the 3rd century or the beginning of the 4th century. Additionally, people of this period used gold coins as currency, representing higher denominations. To this day, it remains a mystery as to who destroyed the city of Phanagoria, but this newly found treasure may be invaluable evidence of historical events during the early medieval era. 500-year-old wolf's corpse, covered in pure gold. Mexican archaeologists recently made an astonishing discovery that shocked the scientific community: the remains of a wolf covered in pure gold, buried in a stone chest near Zocalo Square in Mexico City, not far from Templo Mayor, the sacred site of the ancient Aztecs. What makes this discovery particularly special is that alongside the 8-month-old wolf's remains, archaeologists also found 22 complete objects, including a pendant engraved with various symbols, a nose ring, and a breastplate made of thin gold sheets, forming a mysterious ritual. Through analysis, researchers believe that after the wolf was killed, Aztec priests adorned it with gold jewelry and a belt made from shells from the Atlantic Ocean. The wolf's remains were then carefully placed in the stone chest, with a layer of flint knives placed above it. Remarkably, the wolf was buried facing west, symbolizing Huitzilopochtli, the Aztec god of war and the sun goddess. According to Aztec beliefs, wolves were considered guides for fallen warriors, helping them cross the dangerous river into the afterlife. This discovery serves as strong evidence of a special sacrificial ritual practiced by the Aztecs and represents an important relic from the reign of King Ahuitzotl, 1486–1502, the most famous and powerful ruler of the Aztec Empire, who expanded its territory as far as modern-day Guatemala. This will undoubtedly be one of the key archaeological discoveries, shedding light on the religion and beliefs of the Aztec civilization. Mass grave reveals family tragedy. In 2011, Polish archaeologists discovered and excavated a mass grave near the village of Kozice. The grave contained 15 sets of remains of women and children, dating back more than 5,000 years. Through the excavation, it became clear that the site was the scene of a massacre from the Bronze Age, as the victims all had crushed skulls, However, what was strange was that the bodies were carefully arranged along with personal belongings. It is likely that those who buried the victims were very familiar with them. Further analysis revealed that all of the remains belonged to a large family spanning 3 generations, with 8 male and 7 female bodies. Most of the bodies were women and children, with one man buried between his wife and son. A 2-year-old child was buried without their parents but placed next to close relatives. Interestingly, a woman who was neither related nor genetically connected to anyone in the grave was buried next to a young man, indicating a close relationship between them. Further analysis shows that the massacre occurred between 2776 and 2880 BC during the globular amphora culture of the Indo-European period. Niels Johansson, co-author of the study and an archaeologist at Aarhus University, believes that after the men left the house, attackers likely broke in, leading to the massacre. The reason for the massacre is still unknown, but it could have been the result of intercultural violence. The globular amphora culture predated the corded ware culture and included several neighboring groups. According to researchers, the massacre may have been driven by a struggle for resources amid the growing dominance of the corded ware culture. 99-million-year-old snail fossil. A remarkable discovery has been announced by researchers who found a fossil of a land snail dating back approximately 99 million years, trapped in amber in Myanmar. This is the oldest snail fossil ever discovered, providing valuable insight into the evolution of this species. What makes this discovery even more impressive is that it was not just a single snail, but a family of snails. The mother snail and 5 newborns were all trapped in amber while they were in the process of giving birth, making it a rare event never before documented. Through detailed analysis using high-resolution CT technology, scientists identified the snails as belonging to the cyclopoid family, with small shells measuring only about 1.27 centimeters in diameter. Notably, the species was named Creta tortulosa gignans, emphasizing the vibrant and miraculous nature of life over time. Evolutionary biologist Adrienne Jochum from the Senckenberg Research Institute and the Frankfurt Museum of Natural History stated, "This is an incredibly miraculous discovery. The baby snails were almost completely enveloped by amber right after they were born 99 million years ago, and they have remained in that state ever since." Thanks to this exceptional preservation, scientists now have a clearer understanding of snail evolution. Unlike other snails, the Creta tortulosa gignans species evolved to give birth to live young rather than laying eggs, which may have been an important factor in their survival in the tropical forests of the Cretaceous period. The Devil's Trails. On the western slope of Mount Roccamonfina, located in the Caserta province of the Campania region in southern Italy, an astonishing archaeological discovery has left researchers stunned. Here, researchers uncovered the Devil's Trails, an area where ancient footprints were preserved in a lava flow dating from 385,000 to 325,000 years ago. These footprints are not just remnants of the past. They tell the story of a struggle, possibly humans hurrying to cross the scorching lava flow. Remarkably, in addition to footprints, there are sometimes even fingerprints, indicating that these ancient people may have grabbed the ground as they slid down the slope. While there is no definitive theory about the exact human species that left these footprints, most studies suggest they belong to either Homo erectus or Homo heidelbergensis. One common hypothesis is that this group of people may have been fleeing from a volcanic eruption. This theory is further supported by the presence of mineral samples in the footprints, particularly lead from the volcano, which aligns with the eruption theory. The footprints also suggest that the tallest person in the group could have been up to 150 centimeters tall, but Homo heidelbergensis, a larger human species, could reach heights over 180 centimeters and weigh up to 90 kilos. An interesting detail is the significant size difference between males and females, reflecting clear sexual dimorphism in this human group. This discovery not only sheds light on a distant past, but also opens up new hypotheses about the lives of ancient people during challenging times. Ancient rooms beneath the ground. On May 19th, Israeli archaeologists revealed the discovery of mysterious underground rooms found beneath a foundation stone layer in an area near the Second Jewish Temple, believed to have existed 2 millennia ago. The rooms began to emerge as students from a military academy carried out an excavation of a large and luxurious Byzantine-era structure, approximately 1400 years old, beneath the Western Wall Plaza in the Old City of Jerusalem. Like many inhabited locations over the past millennium, numerous areas in Jerusalem still feature deep archaeological layers, a result of successive social periods building on previous structures rather than clearing away old ruins. According to Barak Givon, the director of the excavation project for the Israel Antiquities Authority, researchers made a major surprise discovery during their investigation. He stated, "What they found here is a system of cut stone, with 3 rooms, all hewn from the foundation stone layer of ancient Jerusalem and connected by stairs. These rooms were created in the early Roman period, with an emphasis on their rarity in later Jewish cities. The discovery is located about 30 meters from the Temple Mount, the holiest site for Jews, where the Second Jewish Temple once stood before its destruction by the Romans in 70 AD. The rooms contain intricate carvings and wall niches that were likely used to hold oil lamps to light the room. While researchers have not yet determined the function of these rooms, Givon suggested that they may have served as underground storage for food in a building or could have been a separate facility used to prepare meals for the city's priests, pilgrims, or visitors to the temple. He noted that jars for food storage, used to cook daily meals, oil lamps, and containers for wheat, barley, or olive oil were found here. A 3,000-year-old palace. In the ancient city of Gezer, Israel, archaeologists have uncovered the remains of a 3,000-year-old palace. The palace was built in the 10th century BCE during the reign of King Solomon, who is described as a wise, powerful king with enormous wealth. The Bible records that during his 40-year reign, Solomon accumulated 25 tons of gold annually, making him one of the wealthiest kings in human history. He is also credited with establishing Israel as a Jewish state. The ancient palace found in Israel is larger than most buildings from the same era. Archaeologists also discovered pottery from the Philistines, a statue of the goddess Ashdod, several amulets, and a children's rattle drum. The palace is believed to have been destroyed in 935 BCE by Pharaoh Shishak, also known as Shishak in the Bible, who attacked the city of Gezer around the 10th century BCE. However, all of the items were moved beforehand. It's likely that the residents knew of the impending attack and had relocated most of their belongings to another secret location. 8-million-year-old turtle fossil. Scientists have recently announced the discovery of a fossil of a giant turtle, roughly the size of a sedan, that lived in the bottom of large rivers and lakes in South America between 5 and 10 million years ago. This turtle species is not only an astonishing find, but also far larger than any modern turtle species. According to Marcelo Sanchez, director of the Museum and Institute of Paleontology at the University of Zurich and leader of the research team, the turtle's shell was nearly 3 meters long, making it the largest turtle ever discovered. Based on fossilized shells and jawbones, scientists estimate that this turtle could have weighed over 1,250 kilograms, nearly 100 times heavier than its surviving relatives, such as the Amazon River turtle. This also makes it twice as heavy as the leatherback sea turtle, the largest turtle species still in existence. Additionally, the fossils reveal an interesting detail. The male turtle had a horn-like structure on its shell, which may have been used to fight other males during mating season. The fossils of this giant turtle were first discovered around 1970, but many questions remained unanswered. However, new and comprehensive findings from recent studies have given researchers a clearer understanding of this remarkable creature. The new fossils also indicate that this giant turtle had a diverse diet, including fish, snakes, crocodiles, mollusks, as well as fruit and grass. This has allowed scientists to develop hypotheses about the survival and eating habits of this species, shedding new light on the study of ancient animals and the biodiversity of prehistoric South America. On 700-year-old Roman Amphitheater. Researchers have excavated remnants of a Roman gladiator arena believed to be 700 years old. These amphitheaters were typically used to showcase gladiatorial combat in ancient Rome. The newly discovered arena was built in an abandoned Roman quarry. The discovery, along with a coin dated between 337 and 341 AD, suggests that this could be the oldest amphitheater in the Roman Empire. Archaeologist Jakob Berlacher revealed several clues indicating that it dates back to the 4th century AD. One key clue is the construction material, including stone blocks and mortar, which closely resembles the walls of ancient forts from the same period. The arena is approximately 50 meters long and 40 meters wide, located within a valley of the quarry. Additionally, archaeologists unearthed a large gate on the southern side of the arena, where they found a well-preserved sandstone block. The interior walls of the arena were plastered, and several unique markings were found on the wooden bleachers and seats. Archaeologists confirmed that all the evidence, including the oval shape of the structure, entrances, and walls, indicates that this is an ancient Roman amphitheater where intense gladiatorial combat was once witnessed by the ancient public. 900-year-old sword. A diver has discovered a 900-year-old sword, believed to have belonged to a Crusader soldier off the coast of Haifa in the Mediterranean Sea. Despite being covered by marine life, the sword can be identified as made of iron, weighing around 1 to 2 kilos, with a blade that is 1 meter long. This rare medieval artifact was found in pristine condition, preserved by the sand, which protected it from oxidation. The Carmel coast, where the sword was found, has numerous small coves that served as storm shelters for ships for centuries. As a result, many artifacts have been uncovered in this area. Remarkably, this 900-year-old sword seems to be the only Crusader-era artifact discovered in the region, as other findings belong to the Bronze Age, around 4,000 years ago. The Crusades, which began in 1095 and continued for centuries, were religious wars conducted by Christian knights with the main objective of reclaiming control of the Holy Land. Some researchers suggest that the sword may be linked to the Atlit fortress, located 13 kilometers from Haifa, which was built in 1218 during the Fifth Crusade. Dear friends, the ancient world always holds fascinating and surprising secrets. What we've shared so far is just a small part of the ancient mysteries that archaeologists have uncovered. There are many other intriguing things around the world waiting for us to explore and discover. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell to stay updated with the next discoveries. For now, this video will come to an end. Thank you and see you next time.